Coming up in the news, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Aviation and Investments on Grants Bahamas today to tour several sites. Local government hopefuls filing nomination papers today. And the minister responsible for local government encouraging Bahamians throughout the Family Islands to vote on January 27th. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Jamila Mizik. Thank you so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, on Grants Bahamas today to tour and inspect several sites. The DPM conducted an inspection of the Grand Lucayan property and met with the new board. The government is now in search of a new buyer for the mega beachfront resort after canceling the proposed deal with Royal Caribbean and the ITM Group made by the former administration late last year. The first order of the day for Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper and his delegation, was an inspection of the Grand Lucayan Hotel property. The minister also taking the opportunity to meet with the newly appointed members of the board. Cooper noting that this is an important step in the transition of the hotel.
We have been working diligently to negotiate out of the deal that existed before. We have made a public statement already that we have terminated that deal by mutual agreement, and we are moving forward to find a new partner and a new investor for this property.
The minister noting that the hotel is an important asset on Grants Bahamas and its sale will play a vital role in strengthening the local tourism product. He says the goal of the new board is to ensure that a deal is sealed as soon as possible.
Today in our board meeting we will be discussing the way forward. We'll be talking about how we can cause this development to be reopened in the shortest possible time frame. I am pleased to reiterate that we do have many candidates who are interested in investing in this property. There are at least 6 of them. This list is expanding every day. People understand the value generally that exists here on the waterfront and the opportunities here on the island of Grand Bahama.
The tourism minister also noting that tourism has rebounded significantly over the past several weeks, notwithstanding the challenges of the pandemic. Numbers continue to be very strong, and the hotel property remains an important part of the tourism product in Grants Bahamas.
I want to say to the people of Grand Bahama that we will not tarry in our work. We recognized what's riding on the redevelopment here, and we will work expeditiously to cause there to be a positive outcome for this property, its employees, and the people of Grand Bahama. We know that the residents are looking forward to having jobs as well as business opportunities as a result of this endeavor. We know that the Port Lucayan marketplace and the businesses there have suffered as a result of lack of traffic. We know that there is a magnificent marina right behind the marketplace that has significant potential. We're going to be carrying the message of this property and the surrounding areas to the world, and we are confident already with the level of interest that we are seeing.
In other news, residents in Grants Bahamas and the Family Islands who are hoping to become local government practitioners filing a nomination papers today to run in the upcoming elections set for January 27th. Tonight, we have team coverage of the Grants Bahamas centers. We begin with J. Philippe in Marco City and East Grants Bahamas at the Jack Hayward Gymnasium.
The nomination process for the Marco City constituency took place at the Jack Hayward Gymnasium. Candidates came in, submitted their required documents, made their payments with hopes of being elected on January 27th. A total of 9 candidates offered themselves for local government nominations. Today, some familiar faces officially submitted their names, while some new faces has elected to offer their time to seek a post for the Marco City constituency. All for what they say is for the greater cause of the Marco City community.
The reason why I offered myself again is because I wasn't able to accomplish some of the goals I wanted to my first time around. I wanted to do more civic programs in Marco City, but due to the hurricane and the pandemic, I had to shift those plans, and I had to basically do what was essential for the persons in Marco City.
A lot of people talk, but I prefer taking action. Service to others is my passion, and I'm not a stranger to hard work. I want to be an advocate for the people of Marco City. I intend to offer my time, dedication, and effort to help implement local policies and programs to better serve us as a constituency.
When you've been into an international forum and you see some of the things in which local government could achieve, and you're just excited about trying to implement these things within your own country, so when you go back to these international forums, you'd be able to compete with them and lift up local government as if though it was a part of the system of the conference.
It was, I put some really long and hard thoughts into if I wanted to do it or not. And I feel that I have something to offer to the people in Marco City, and I really want to run because I feel that I can make a difference in that constituency.
Some of the candidates also sharing some of their plans if elected come January 27th.
Some of my immediate plans after being elected to be a representative in Marco City is to focus on the youths.
I'm running on a record of experience, a record of heart and service.
We want to set up a homeless shelter. That's number one in our priority list. Another being hurricane shelter. You know, we had lots of storms. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but that's also on my list.
The nomination process for the East Grand Bahama constituency also took place at the Jack Hayward High School. A total of 6 hopeful candidates offered themselves for the upcoming elections.
In the last 10 years, I have been a part of the community, not only working as a civil employee, but also as an activist in the community, ensuring, especially for the boys and girls. So I said it's time now to step up to the plate so I can do more.
My hands have been in the trenches of the community. I'm not a kind of forefront person. I work best behind the scenes. I get the job done. But I believe that it's time to take it to the next level, especially because of all the trauma that we have experienced in recent times.
I said, Shiloh, it's time to be Rashad Adderley and help your country. So I'm using local government as a platform to help my country. Because like I said in previous interviews, in previous conversations, it's being underutilized, and I feel that with my team, we can make this place a better place and utilize the local government institution as the best as we can.
Now, according to G.A. Walker, the returning officer for the East Grand Bahama constituency, she says nomination day process was seamless.
It's been going quite smoothly. The candidates are coming in with all of the documents they need and, of course, the required amount of funds. We're following all of the protocol guidelines, keeping our distance. We have sanitizing that's done in between each of the nominees coming to us, wiping down, cleaning, making sure that everything is in order.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Now we move to West Grants, Bahama. Romiko Knowles has that story.
It is nomination day for those offering themselves to serve in local government here at the administrative complex in 8 Mile Rock. There were some first-time candidates as well as those offering themselves to serve for another term. Serving as the returning officer, Jasmine Roll has worked with local government since 1997. She says that most persons do not view it as important as general elections, but it is.
We have persons from Pindus Point Township, 8 Mile Rock East Township, 8 Mile Rock West Township, and West End Township come out to nominate today. Once there's enough persons nominated for that township, we won't need an election, but if we have more than what we need, we're going to have an election.
Larry Wagus is renominating in the constituency of Hepburn Town. He says despite having a limited budget, he is focusing on keeping the area clean.
That's one of the most important things about local government. What people don't really understand is local government has a limited budget to do many things that the residents expect. However, we try to keep the roads clean. We try to get rid of all the derelict vehicles, and we try to assist young children as much as possible. As I indicated, this is a very limited budget that this township, 8 Mile East Township, has. I was elected back in 2017, and hopefully I will be successful in this election of 2022.
Nominating for the Pinders Point Township, Jonik Bevins presented officials with a crisp $50 bill. As a first-time candidate, he shares his plans for the area.
I visited the graveyard yesterday, and it's in terrible condition. It has been poorly maintained, and I do intend to act on that immediately. Also, the area is in great need of a boat ramp. So I wouldn't want to make any promises, but I'll do my best to try and accomplish some goals that I have set for this term.
Rashando Russell says he was asked by members of the community in Lewis Yard to nominate himself in the Pinders Point area.
A lot of people never tell me that. Well, this is the first time they told me to. Every time I decide to, I do it too late, so I wasn't able to do it. But this is the first time I really got into it, you know.
He says he plans to improve the recreational activities for the youngsters in the community.
Like little parks for the kids, you know, little learning activities. Because, you know, the kids run around doing all kind of bad stuff, you know.
Dozens more arriving to present their nomination papers and deposits to officials. Alfred Williams nominating himself for another term in the Bartlett Hill area in 8 Mile Rock. He says there is still much work to be done.
Even in the last term that I was in, the budget that we had to work with in terms of what we had, it wasn't conducive. In as much part with the pandemic and the devastations of the hurricanes, the communities in West Grand Bahamas grown tremendously. You had a lot of people move back to the community, so that means there's extra burden on all of the things that you're mandated to do.
Local government elections will take place on Thursday, January 27th. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Candidates looking to secure a spot in the Central Grounds Bahama and Pine Ridge constituencies filed nomination papers at the St. George's High School Gymnasium. Jay Philippe has more.
The nomination center for the Pine Ridge and Central Grand Bahama constituencies was at the St. George's High School Gymnasium. 4 candidates make up the nomination ballot for the Pine Ridge constituency, including newcomer Edwin Strawn, Ernie Barr, who is seeking to be re-elected, and Clifton Francis, a former local government councillor.
Yes, I've always been instrumental in community development, and I'm passionate and dedicated about serving my community. And most constituents saw the vision in me and asked me to offer myself, and I considered and agreed. I want to be able to get the community involved, and one way to do that, I feel, is to establish like community committees, and where we can meet with the residents on a regular basis to address their concerns and deal with them direct.
I love working for the people. The people was one who supported me the last election, and I think they are going to support me again this election. I feel confident within myself that I'll be able to help more persons reach more persons and help improve lives in the Pine Ridge area. I don't talk this thing. I believe in it with all my heart, with all my might. That the people, we need to form unity and strength in order to get the Bahamas back together again.
Well, I realized that in the city of Freeport, we had 9 councillors, and certain things were not done to the way it should be. I know when local government first came into play, it was whereas persons would be able to do more. Central government was in Nassau, and local government would have been at a local level where we could do more within the city with funds that they would have sent us. And I mean, you ever ride around Freeport? Some of the things are not there. I mean, Freeport is just, it's not looking the way it should be looking, you know. And every year, and one of my goals is to construct or build a state-of-the-art hurricane shelter, because say what you want to say, hurricane hit Grand Bahama every year, and we have to be prepared. We have to be proactive in doing anything. We have to be there so that that persons could be able to know that, listen, this is what local government doing.
According to returning officer for the Pine Ridge constituency, Elsina Duncombe, the nomination process went rather smoothly.
Candidates came prepared with the documents that they were required to present, and so everything went very smoothly. We had no problems this morning.
As for Central Grand Bahama, 5 candidates presented their documents, making it official. For Marco Curie and Fraser Gibson, it's their 3rd time around. But for first-time candidate Michelle DeSaunders, it's a new challenge that she says she's looking forward to embracing.
Infrastructure, it was the key for Central Grand Bahama. Then I'll focus on community programs. Even what made me also want to run, first-time voters, never voted in general election before. They said, Marco, I will sign your nomination paper for you. So it did me good to run again for the young persons and put in programs for the young persons of Central Grand Bahama.
I made a commitment to run in my constituency because I know where I came from and I know what all our areas need. And I put myself in other people's shoes growing up as a child because I know everybody needs help, and you need somebody who's going to push our constituency to help the younger generation coming up.
Well, there's a lot of unfinished work that I've begun in Central Grand Bahama. For instance, the beach access road to Williamstown, that needs to be completed, along with a community center in the Wellington-Pender Heights area. And so it was no-brainer that I would offer myself to give back to the constituents of Central Grand Bahama.
The names are in. Up next, Election Day on January 27th, returning officer Chester Cooper.
The process has been slow, but normally with local government, you have a certain number of persons who would nominate. And so far for the morning, we have 4 persons who nominated so far. So then there'll definitely be an election in Central Grand Bahama District. So they seem very excited. The nominees are enthused about representing their district, so it should be an excellent process.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, more on local government nominations after the break.